The foundation of a woman's worth. A woman's worth is not something given by society, by a husband, by children, or by the opinions of others. It is something sacred, something placed within her by God Himself. Long before anyone had an opinion about you, before your children could even speak your name, your worth was already written into your being. You were created with value, dignity, and strength. This is the foundation every mother must stand upon if she desires to raise children who truly respect her. Too often, women fall into the trap of believing that their worth is measured by how much they do for others. They believe that if they cook enough meals, clean the house, sacrifice their dreams, and give endlessly, then their children will respect them. But respect does not come from self-neglect. In fact, the opposite is true. When a woman forgets her own value, she unintentionally teaches her children to forget it too. Children are keen observers. They see when their mother doubts herself. They notice when she puts everyone else's needs ahead of her own and leaves nothing for herself. And whether she realizes it or not, she is teaching them something, that her voice, her time, and her heart are not worthy of respect. That is why the first step in raising children who respect you is to embrace your own worth. A woman who knows her worth carries herself differently. She walks with quiet strength. She speaks with dignity. She loves without losing herself. And children notice this. They learn that respect is not just about obeying rules or showing manners. It is about honoring someone's God-given value. When they see their mother living in alignment with her true worth, they begin to understand how to honor her and eventually how to honor others as well. You see, your worth is not something you have to prove. You don't need to beg for it. You don't need to convince an ion of it. Worth is something you simply recognize and step into. It is the light within you that refuses to be dimmed by criticism or rejection. It is the unshakable truth that you are worthy of love, respect, and honor. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And when you stand in that truth, your children learn the most important lesson of all: how to see themselves as worthy. If you want your children to grow strong, to live with confidence, and to respect others, it begins with your example. Respect is not taught by words. It is awakened through presence. When they see you honoring yourself, they will rise to honor you in return. Never forget this. The foundation of respect begins with self-respect, and self-respect begins with knowing your worth. Teaching through example. Children may not always listen to what you say, but they never fail to absorb what you do. A mother's actions, her habits, and her way of living speak louder than any words ever could. This is why the greatest lessons you can pass on to your children are not the ones you preach, but the ones you live out before them each day. Think about it. When a child watches how you handle challenges, they are silently learning how to face their own. When they see you speaking with kindness, they learn the power of gentle words. When they observe you setting boundaries and respecting yourself, they learn that respect is not demanded, but cultivated. You are their first teacher, their living book, and every page of your life is shaping their future. Many mothers worry that their children don't respect them, but often children are only reflecting what they have seen. If they see a mother constantly doubting herself, apologizing unnecessarily, or allowing others to mistreat her, they begin to believe that this is acceptable behavior. But when they see a mother walk with strength, hold her head high and stand firm in her values, it plants a seed within them, one that teaches respect not through lecture, but through example. Respect begins at home, and it begins with modeling. If you want your children to value honesty, let them see you being truthful even when it's hard. If you want them to value discipline, let them watch you keep your word and follow through on your commitments. If you want them to value kindness, let them witness your compassion in action, not only toward them, but toward others. Children are mirrors, reflecting back what they see, and the example you set becomes the standard they live by. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Perfection is not what children need. What they need is authenticity. They need to see a mother who can admit when she's wrong, who can apologize sincerely, who can show that growth is a lifelong journey. In doing so, you teach them humility and the strength it takes to own mistakes without shame. When you embody the values you want to see in your children, you are writing those values deep into their hearts. They may not show it right away. In fact, there will be seasons where it seems as if your lessons are going unnoticed. But trust this, nothing is wasted. Every act of integrity, every moment of patience, every example of resilience becomes part of their foundation. And one day, they will carry those lessons into their own lives and relationships. So, remember this truth. You are not just raising children, you are raising future adults. And the way you live before them is shaping how they will live when you are no longer watching. Be the example of respect, strength, and love that you want to see reflected in them. Because children don't just grow into who you tell them to be, they grow into who you show them to be. The balance of love and boundaries. Love is the heartbeat of motherhood. It is what compels you to sacrifice, to nurture, and to give of yourself even when you are tired or unnoticed. But as powerful as love is, love alone without boundaries can lead to imbalance, disrespect, and even emotional exhaustion. To raise strong children who respect you, you must master the balance between unconditional love and firm boundaries. Many mothers believe that to be loving means to always say yes, to always give, and to never disappoint their children. But this is a misunderstanding of true love. True love does not spoil, it strengthens. True love does not weaken a child by shielding them from every consequence. It empowers them to grow through life's lessons. Boundaries are not the opposite of love. They are an expression of it. Think of a river. Its waters are powerful, but without banks to guide it, the water floods everywhere, destroying what's around it. In the same way, a mother's love must flow within the guiding walls of boundaries. These boundaries teach children structure, respect, and responsibility. They help children understand that love does not mean freedom to disrespect or to take advantage. It means safety, stability, and accountability. When you set boundaries with your children, you are not being harsh, you are being wise. For example, teaching them to speak respectfully, to value your time, and to honor the rules of the home are not acts of control, but acts of love. Without these lessons, children grow up thinking they are entitled to everything without giving respect in return. But when boundaries are set early and enforced consistently, children learn that love is not a license for chaos. It is a space of order and honor. At the same time, boundaries without love can create fear and resentment. That is why balance is key. Discipline should always be wrapped in love. Correction should be paired with compassion. And rules should always serve the purpose of building, not breaking, a child's spirit. Children thrive when they know that while their mother is firm, her firmness is rooted in care and not anger. As a mother, you are not called to be a servant to your children's every demand, nor are you called to be a tyrant. You are called to be a guide. And guidance requires both affection and authority. When your children see that your boundaries are consistent and fair, they learn to respect them. Over time, this respect grows into admiration and trust. Remember, every no you say with love is shaping your children's character. Every line you draw in the sand teaches them how to treat you, how to treat others, and ultimately how to treat themselves. By balancing love with boundaries, you are not only protecting your own worth, you are raising children who will grow strong, respectful, and ready to face the world with dignity. The balance of love and boundaries is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Because children raised in both love and structure learn the true meaning of respect, and they will carry that respect for you in their hearts long after they leave your home. Speaking life through words, words are more powerful than we often realize. They can build bridges or burn them. They can heal wounds or deepen them. For a mother, words are the seeds planted in the hearts of her children, seeds that will eventually bloom into the way they think about themselves, others, and even you. To raise strong children who respect you, you must learn to speak life into them while also teaching them the power of words through your own example. Many mothers underestimate the impact of their daily speech. A careless word spoken in frustration can linger in a child's memory for years. On the other hand, A single word of encouragement can ignite confidence that lasts a lifetime. This is why speaking life is not just about being kind. It is about being intentional. Every word you speak carries weight, and your children are always listening, even when you think they are not. But speaking life does not mean avoiding correction. It means correcting with wisdom and grace. Instead of tearing down with words like, "You'll never learn," you can lift up by saying, "I know this is hard, but I believe in you." Instead of saying, "Why can't you be more like your sibling?" you can guide with, "You are unique, and I know you have strengths that will shine." Words of correction should never crush. They should redirect. The same principle applies to how you speak about yourself in front of your children. If they constantly hear you saying, "I'm so tired, I'm not good enough," or "nobody values me," they will absorb that mindset. Without realizing it, you are teaching them how to view you and even how to view themselves. But when they hear you speak with strength, gratitude, and faith, you are planting seeds of respect and resilience. Spiritual awakening begins in the tongue. The Bible tells us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. When you choose to speak life into your children and into yourself, you are activating a spiritual truth that cannot be denied. Respect grows when children are spoken to with dignity, even in discipline. They may not thank you immediately, but they will remember how your words made them feel. This is also why it is crucial to set boundaries with words. If your children speak to you in disrespectful tones, correct it immediately. Do not allow dishonor to slip by in silence. Calmly but firmly remind them that words carry power and that respect is non-negotiable. By doing this, you are not only protecting your own worth, but you are also teaching them one of the greatest life lessons, that language has the power to shape destiny. So mother, speak life. Speak blessings over your children, even when they stumble. Speak faith into their future, even when the present feels uncertain. And most importantly, speak life over yourself. The words you declare about your own worth set the standard for how your children will speak to you and about you. Your voice is a divine instrument. Use it to nurture, to correct with love, and to plant seeds of respect that will bloom for generations. The role of faith and spiritual guidance. Motherhood is not just a physical responsibility, it is also a spiritual calling. Raising children who respect you requires more than rules, love, and discipline. It requires divine wisdom. This is where faith becomes your anchor. Without faith, you carry the weight of parenting alone. But with faith, you are guided, strengthened, and empowered by a higher source of wisdom and love. Every mother faces moments of exhaustion, doubt, and even heartbreak. There will be times when your children test your patience, when they seem to ignore your sacrifices, or when they stray from the values you've taught them. In those moments, it is easy to feel powerless. But faith reminds you that you are never alone. God sees the effort you put in, even when no one else does. He knows the tears you cry behind closed doors, the prayers whispered in silence, and the strength it takes to carry your family. Faith is not about having a perfect family. It's about inviting divine guidance into the imperfections. When you pray over your children, you are covering them with protection that your hands alone cannot provide. When you open the word and live by its truth, you give them a foundation that no storm can shake. And when you model a life of faith, you give them an inheritance far greater than money or material possessions. You give them a spiritual legacy. Children learn more about faith by watching you than by what you tell them. When they see you pray before making decisions, they learn reliance on God. When they hear you thanking Him for blessings, they learn gratitude. When they watch you face trials with peace instead of panic, they learn that strength comes from above. Even if they stray for a time, the example of your faith will always echo in their hearts, calling them back. Spiritual guidance also helps you set the standard for respect in your home. When you align your parenting with God's wisdom, you are not just demanding respect for yourself, you are teaching your children to honor the order God created. The commandment to honor your father and mother is not man-made, it is divine. When children honor their parents, they align themselves with blessings and protection. By teaching them this truth, you are giving them a gift that will shape their future. Faith also strengthens you when you feel undervalued. Instead of seeking validation from your children or from society, you stand firm in knowing that God Himself has validated you. Your worth is eternal, and your role as a mother is sacred in His eyes. This assurance allows you to parent from a place of peace instead of desperation. So never underestimate the role of faith in raising strong, respectful children. Your prayers are powerful, your example is priceless, and your connection to God is the greatest source of strength you can ever pass on to your children. When you walk in faith, you not only raise children who respect you, you raise children who respect themselves, others, and the God who created them. Becoming a legacy of strength and respect. Every mother leaves behind more than memories. She leaves behind a legacy. The way you live, the values you instill, the love you give, and the boundaries you set will echo through generations. Your children are not just your responsibility for today. They are your living legacy for tomorrow. And the most powerful gift you can pass on is a legacy of strength, respect, and faith. Legacy is not built overnight. It is shaped in the small, consistent actions of everyday life. When you choose patience instead of anger, you are building legacy. When you stand firm in your values instead of giving into pressure, you are building legacy. When you nurture yourself and honor your own worth, you are teaching your children what true respect looks like. And that will ripple into the way they live their own lives. One day, your children will tell stories about you. They will remember not just what you said, but how you made them feel. They will remember how you carried yourself, how you stood in the face of challenges, and how you treated others. They will carry these lessons into their own families, passing down what they witnessed in you. That is why it is so important to be intentional now, because you are writing the story that will be told for years to come. A legacy of strength does not mean you were never weak. In fact, children respect a mother more when they see that her strength came through struggle. When they see you rise after falling, pray after crying, and continue loving after being hurt, they realize that true strength is not about perfection. It is about resilience. This kind of strength leaves a lasting impression far greater than wealth or possessions ever could. A legacy of respect also means modeling what it means to honor others while demanding honor for yourself. If you allow disrespect in your home without correction, why?
You risk teaching your children that dishonor is acceptable. But when you calmly and firmly set the standard, you remind them that respect is the foundation of all healthy relationships. And long after you are gone, they will remember how you insisted on respect, not just for yourself, but as a principle of life. Spiritual legacy is perhaps the greatest of all. When you live with faith, you pass down more than habits, you pass down hope. Your children may not remember every prayer you prayed, but they will remember that you prayed. They may not recall every verse you quoted, but they will remember that you leaned on God. And when their own storms come, they will find themselves drawing strength from the faith you lived before them. Motherhood is not just about raising children, it's about shaping generations. The love, the wisdom, the faith, and the respect you pour into your children today will ripple into their future and into the lives of their children as well. So stand tall in your worth, live with dignity, and parent with love and boundaries. Because one day, your children will look back and they will realize that they were blessed to be raised by a woman who not only gave them life, but also gave them a legacy worth living. Motherhood is more than a role. It is a divine assignment. From the moment a woman carries life within her, she becomes a vessel of love, strength, and wisdom. Yet along this journey, many mothers wrestle with a painful question. Will my children truly respect me? Will they see my worth? The truth is, raising children who respect you is not an overnight process. It is a lifelong journey of planting seeds of worth, example, boundaries, words, faith, and legacy that eventually grow into honor. It begins with knowing your worth. Before your children can respect you, you must respect yourself. You are not defined by the tasks you do or the sacrifices you make. You are defined by the unshakable truth that you are worthy because God created you with purpose. When you embrace your value, you show your children how to embrace theirs. From there, you teach not with endless lectures, but through the power of example. Children may resist words, but they cannot resist the life you live before them. When they see you walking in integrity, standing firm in dignity, and showing compassion to others, they learn what respect looks like in action. But love alone is not enough. It must be balanced with boundaries. By setting limits, enforcing respect, and guiding with both firmness and affection, you help your children grow into strong individuals who understand responsibility. Boundaries do not weaken love, they protect it. And children who grow up with balanced love and discipline grow up with respect engraved in their hearts. Words also play a powerful role. What you speak over your children and over yourself creates an atmosphere in your home. Words of life build confidence, teach dignity, and leave an imprint far deeper than criticism ever could. And when your children hear you correcting with love, encouraging with faith, and speaking strength into yourself, they learn that respect is expressed through language. At the heart of it all is faith. Without God's guidance, parenting can feel overwhelming. But when you lean on Him, pray for wisdom, and live by spiritual truths, you not only raise children who respect you, you raise children who understand reverence for God and for others. Faith is the anchor that steadies you when parenting feels heavy, and it is the inheritance that outlives you. Finally, everything you do becomes part of your legacy. Your children will remember not just what you gave them, but how you lived. They will recall your strength in struggle, your kindness in difficulty, your boundaries in love, and your faith in the unseen. That legacy will shape generations. So to every mother listening, your influence is greater than you realize. Even when your children don't express it, your presence is shaping their lives. Stand firm in your worth. Live with intention. Lead with love, boundaries, and faith. And know this: one day, your children will look back and recognize the treasure they had in you. Because a woman's worth is eternal, and her legacy is forever.